Hope you guys are well. Hope everything is good with everyone. If anyone has got any experience with OBS, please let me know because it's extremely tilting. I think I'm going to need to do some more digging into it or potentially try a different software because it keeps on lagging, to be honest with you. Regardless, let me know how your sesh has been. This clock is still not right. I'm going to need to change that too. I'm still not fully cool with this time change. It's kind of strange, to be honest, operating an hour behind everyone. Um, yeah, let's draw out some action that we could potentially have so far. Nothing too crazy, as expected in a Monday and Tuesday. It's been kind of a slightly grind higher. So we've got here, and then we've got down back at VWAP. Otherwise, nothing really to write home about, to be honest. We've got this sort of level down here that's also out of value for the sesh. So we can see we broke above yesterday's high here and initial balance and have just been grinding ever since. So we'll see if we can pop this level. And also, if you're in the chat, say hi. Let me know you're lurking. Delta is plus 9k on the sesh. We'll see if we can break this level. But it does look like we can potentially pop higher here, to be honest. We are just approaching the value area of last week as well. So we'll see if they're going to bang it and then basically return back. POC is down here at 64s. So we have broke above. So down here it's like nearly 12k. So we would need to in essence double the volume carried out here in order to turn POC higher, but we're not too far away from that. So we could consolidate slightly higher here. And if we do reclaim 80s here, then we'll probably fade back in, to be honest. Something actually I'm going to show you guys. I'll do it in tomorrow's stream so I can get a little bit more prepped. And we're going to run through price squawk. There's a link to it in the description if you want to check out in the meantime. Where we're going to run through it tomorrow for some audio cues for your order flow. Now we'll run through some stuff in ES. I would say it is slightly easier um, in thicker markets, but that goes, with everything, to be honest. So we have just reclaimed 80s. So we'll see if we're now going to go and reclaim 76s is the play. If we're now going to work our way back down into the sort of value area. So for anyone that is fading, we should not be really returning probably back above 82s to be honest, but safe spot is 83 and a halfs. Huge level here to be honest. I reset the delta just before I come on. There's 4,000 contracts into the offer that's been executed at 80s. So really, really key level. I mean, it's an absolute line in the sand here at 80s. So if we reclaim, some people need to cover, then we work our way back down into value. But the more we go above here and we fill out this area, we'll see when it comes in the next hour for close if we're going to pop higher. There is 10k delta to the positive side. So any more and we may get a nice little close off on delta to end the sesh. So yeah, that's pretty much all that's happening right now. All eyes on 80s at the moment. So recenter and watch how the rest of the market is. Well, ES is at 80s here. And then we'll clear. Yeah, let me know if you guys are using any sort of audio cues for your order flow at the moment. Um, I know a lot of people use Tick Strike, but I've been experimenting with Price Squawk for the last little while, and it's definitely it actually gives you an audible tape versus like a Tick Strike that's almost like a 30-second breakout level, for the ticking that it gives you. So it's not necessarily reading the order flow per se. So it's not as efficient. Did you guys take any trades today or anything along those lines? Dingy, you're struggling with the market? Yeah, I mean, there's not really much happened so far, mate, to be honest. There's not really too much happened. It's been more balanced, to be honest, which would make sense now that we basically pull back into 60s now. But we'll see. Typically, when the market is like this Monday, Tuesdays, when it comes to later on in the week, we'll typically get a bit of a move, or at least some sort of direction. So you can see here the amount of buying that's happened, right? And we cannot crack. We've got 1,200 contracts at 79 three quarters, 4,000 there. We've had a pop above, absorbed, and then basically pulled back in. So if buyers don't crack above these levels, this buying delta's not really did too much, to be honest. So there's definitely a passive seller there at the minutes. You're waiting 85.4 to break. Okay. Any reason for that level? Is it like a value area high from last week or anything? Yeah. And you guys both trade ES specifically? So, I mean, this one is really clear cut here at 80s. So now we're basically pulling in, and we should see a bit of a capitulation relatively quick here because all the buying there will need to cover. Previous day high. Yeah. Yeah, we're pretty close. But yeah, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday with nothing crazy happening. It's a good opportunity to be fading previous day high, or at least a pop above it. But we were pretty close to getting there, to be honest. So another sort of wait in your hands moment. This one is a bit aggressive, but just not. I'm feeling a bit more of a consolidation around here right now, and then we've got yeah, about an hour until close, pretty much. 40 level opens. Let me see. 40s open? You mean down here? You mean down at this level? Yeah. And essentially we opened here. This has been absolutely shocking price action today, hasn't it? It's done absolutely nothing, which is very typical for Monday Tuesday, but it's not normally as bad as this. You know, going by right now, the way that this is currently going, um, sort of pulling back into 72s like this kind of area, and then we make here like the new POC or something, roughly around about here, but just not really any opportunities. That's actually nice if you didn't take any trades today, to be honest. Nicely done. Um, sorry, you're right. It's because I'm an hour behind and everything. That's a great point. Let me change that. So this is set to UK time. Fuck. And then it's 21. Yeah, so you're spot on, mate. No wonder I'm not even looking at the same charts, honestly. this 1 hour change is really annoying. Wow, that completely changes the flow, mate. Okay. So we have here the open. You've basically smashed below right at open, right? Okay. This is the level you're talking about down here, right? Down here. You're talking about. Where was that in contention? An absolute dump below this level and then a complete V reversal right back in this reclaim and it's been bid ever since. Okay. Wow. It's amazing. It's amazing how that 1 hour when you change that there, how different that makes the day look. Do you know what I mean? Oh, it does. It ruins sleep for you. Yeah, it's really. So I've changed it for the thicker markets, but um, it's just it's put me off a little bit to be honest. It's making the day, last a little bit longer, and then the problem is right now, if I go and change it for my charts, it's then messed up the previous days, you know. But because obviously all the volume is now taken into account for the previous days, so it's a bit annoying. I probably could change it to world clock or something, or like global time zone or something. But then the problem is if I change that and I look at the time at the bottom, I've got no idea what time it is. Do you know? Obviously, I'm assuming you guys are doing the same. That when you're looking at the charts, you want to know what time it is in your time, not US time or whatever global time zone or something. So up 300 yesterday, down 300 today. Not good, not bad, not great, not terrible. Very good. Was down 700, but I pulled. You're trading micros, mate. How are you managing to be down 700 on micros? I mean, are you trading like you know five? I mean, even 5 micros, six, or you trading like 20 micros and you're scaling out of positions or something? Because assuming when you say you're doing micros, you're not trading like 1 or 2 micros, right? Valentino, I'm assuming. Like when you say that, you're maybe trading like 5 or 6 micros or something along those lines. Micros, if I'm honest with you, if you're scalping, is so hard to make money. I don't know if you guys realize this, but you know, if you take a trade with micros on both NQ and ES, you need to make 2 ticks to make any money on a trade. It's such a disadvantage. But then the trouble is, if you take 50k accounts, trading a mini, say I don't know what account, what prop firms you're going for or whatever, but say you take a standard 50k account and you've got a couple of k drawdown, one mini's not long and going. Do you know what I mean? I mean, 10 ticks is like a lot. So one trade, you need to be really quick at managing it, to be honest. And it's really, really easy to tilt. You lose 10 ticks, you're down 125 plus comms. Another trade, you're down 250, and before you know it, you know, you enter into the land of no return. All right, sorry. Okay, okay, yeah, minis. It's a hard man. Honestly, it's yeah. If you were to trade minis and you need to take one of the larger accounts with prop firms to give yourself that breathing room. To be honest, um, yeah, you probably need 5k a drawdown or something to give yourself a chance, and it depends how many ticks you're going for as well. you know, what your stop and loss is. Because 2K is not enough wiggle room for a mini contract. And mostly the problem is as well is if you don't have absolute hard limits in place, you're going to really struggle because you have two bad trades and then you click too many times and then you end up nuking the account. It's really easy to do on ES. You have a 50k account, you've been told to stay away from it. Yeah, 100%, right? You can't trade a mini on 50ks. It's too much. You've got what 2k drawdown. You need to make probably 3k target. So this is the hard thing that no one talks about with prop firms, right? Is they give you 50k buying power, but you've got 2k. In order to actually pass the account, they're asking you to make 150% on the account. Do you know what I mean? Like you've got 2k drawdown, you need to make 3k. That's 150% in my book, right? Because it's technically not 50k. You get 50k buying power, which is nothing. The actual money you have. So in order to really stand a chance, you really you get two ways to do these accounts in general is really take your time, take all the stress away, trade a couple of micros or whatever, or trade thicker markets so it doesn't move as much. Um, just really take your time, to be honest, because you don't have a 50k account or a 25k or whatever account size you get. You've only got the drawdown of the account. But yeah, that's one way to think about it, to be honest, if you are trading prop. But then, and that's the thing too, is if you're trading your personal account, unless you've got something like 30, 40k sitting there with a broker, so you can actually risk 1 to 2%, but then, you know, you don't want to have that much money sitting with a broker, so you need to up your risk a little bit and then replenish when you need to, which makes sense, to do it that way, to be honest. This is painful. I mean, he said 80s would work, and you're sitting in this for like 15 minutes for 6 or 7 ticks. I mean, jeez. What prop firm are you trading with, Valentino? Is it Top Step or something? They're going with their Apex or whatever. I've not actually even looked at the new Apex rules. What are they like? Do you guys have any accounts with them? And roughly what percentage of you guys that are watching right now, let me know if you're trading your personal or you're trading any of the prop shop setup. Well, that's exactly the way I see it, mate. Because realistically, you can't do anything in the futures market with 1400 anyway. You're just kidding yourself on. Do you know what I mean? Like if you were to go and put 1400 bucks in a personal account, what can you do? Um, my advice, if you're going to be trading personal, is you cannot, until you're learning and experiencing the market, whatever way you want to do it, right? But you need to have enough capital behind you to at least trade a mini contract. Because if you're trading micros and you take a position on, ES, NQ, in fact, micros pretty much with any product, you literally need to make a tick. Um, so sorry, you need to make two ticks to actually make any money, right? How much of a disadvantage is that? Do you know? Whereas I think standard comms, you'll maybe you need to make a tick every four trades. I know you're not going for a tick. I'm not saying that, but just in general, the spread between buying and selling, um, between your buying and selling, what your commissions are, you want to have the spread as tight as possible with your broker. Trade with top step. Okay. It makes perfect sense, Miranda, to be honest. Well, again, it all depends, Jay. It all depends on on the product you're trading, mates. If you're trading ES and you're trading a 50k account, um, it's just difficult because if you're taking 5 micros, right, you're paying more commission than you are if you're trading one mini. It's unfair. So if you're trading micro contracts, you can't scalp. You can't. You need to be going for bigger chunks in the market, right? You can't be going for 10 to 12 ticks with micro contracts because you get slayed with commissions. Because going by what I've said, if you know, every time you click the mouse with a micro contract, you need to make two ticks to actually make any money. If you make a tick with a micro contract, you actually lose money. That's ridiculous, right? So the two main brokers that is I use Edge Clear, but AMP is pretty popular as well. Um, yeah, Valentino, the scaling plan's a joke as well. It's pitched so that you get yourself ready for funded and stuff like that, but it's just a way to limit the risk, to be honest. They basically don't want people going all in a couple of days on an evaluation, passing, getting full access to the risk, then going all in, and basically hitting them for a huge amount. They just don't want that. So they basically say you need to make X amount before you get access to full capital. That's not there to help traders. That's there to limit the downside, to be honest. You know, you need to think about like all of the rules with these prop shop setups are not there to benefit you, even though they pitch it as if they do. They are not there to benefit you at all. Every single little thing that they've done is calculated to give them an edge. It's kind of like the casino. It doesn't matter which one you trade, which one you go to. Every one of them has their own little kind of rules, that tweak things in their advantage. Something so much where you can only request X amount, in a specific window, or you have to have X amount of trading days, before you can request a withdrawal. The reason why they do that is because say you're plus 190 in a day, and then you're like, well, I would probably be done today, but then you take another trade because you're $10 away, and then ultimately you end up, turning it into a red day. Stupid things like that. Whereas realistically, the difference between $190 and 200 is absolutely meaningless out with their criteria, you know, or whatever accounts. They've all got their own ones. Just it's a weird setup. It's just Robbie boy, how's it going, dude? How's your holiday, mate? What's happening? Valentine, very annoyed that once you pass, you're not allowed to trade more than two contracts until you've made five. Wow, is that increased or that's crazy? I thought it was like you had to get to 2K or something with them, but you know, which is madness. Small account still learning. Ah, okay. So I mean, that's the main thing, of course. I've already said this, but if you're trading your personal accounts and you're trading micros, it's very hard to make any money. To be honest, you're literally just helping the CME. So, Rob, bonds pretty much didn't really do too much today, mate. It's pretty much flat on the sesh. So you've had your PA for 48 trading days. Nice. With a profit of 625, trading one MES contract at a time. I'm not particularly focused on pairs, it's really inexperienced. Wow. Well done, mate. That's amazing patience. Excellent stuff. You got luck on news with wide limits, hit both and made 9 points in ES in 1 second. Wow. Yeah. Well, I know I feel like I'm harping on about the same shit all the time, but when you've been trading for many years, man, you need to pay attention to the comms. Depending on your trade frequency, if you're only taking 1 or 2 trades a day, then not really. But if you're taking 10 trades a day, it really really adds up, especially when you start moving size. You could probably be saving a couple of grand a month in commissions with a better split, and that adds up massively across your month. You know, like if you've got good commissions because you're moving off size, it's a difference between turning you in to slightly profitable to being really profitable. You know, because not only do you need to make money, you also need to beat commissions on top of it. It also affects your ROI. Same way as they charge a rake in poker or whatever. It's the same concept. You know, sit down at a casino, they rake it. If the rake is too high, then the game is unbeatable. Do you know what I mean? If they rake so much at the pot. Same thing in trading. If the comms are that high, it doesn't matter how good you are at trading, you're doomed to fail. Just don't feel like it's spoke about enough, to be honest. Yeah, definitely not came back at all, mate. At all. I think next year. I think next year, mate. I'm gonna probably focus on some Eurex stuff. Um, yeah, it's just really inconsistent with treasuries, to be honest. And then maybe hit it on Thursdays, for example, when we know the market's going to move. Just look for some good outliers in the data points and basically hit the short end of the curve. So, but yeah, and also as well, the Eurex is just cheaper too. It's not got their greedy CME paws out. Yeah, Valentine, it's two K on the 50K, so you need to make 150% just to pass the damn thing. I don't know. I'm trying not to be pretty doom and gloom about it, but it's you know, you're certainly gonna make more money being a prop firm than you are being a trader. Put it that way. I just wish that these firms would be more honest about what they're doing. We'll see what's going to happen next year though when the CME basically steps in. We'll see how quickly that materializes. To be honest with you, but if there's any sort of regulations, I reckon if any of these prop firms pull a fast one and basically go bust though in the process, then the CME will basically step in sooner, to be honest. Yeah, what do you guys think about the setup between props and the regulations and stuff that's going to come in? This is some of the worst action I've seen in a long time. I actually forgot the market was moving. Right, of course. Of course, you need to make more than 150%, and you also need to beat commissions. And the rhythmic commissions, if you take rhythmic, are shocking as well. You're getting better comms if you just phone out your broker and say, "Hi, broker, can you nail me, please? I want the highest tiering you've got. Thank you." And that's what prop commissions are. Do you want any discount, trader? No, I don't want any. No. Yeah, Rob. I mean, in like our equivalent of FCA, mate. So like, the CFTC or something, or SEC or something gets involved. With the setup. But because you better believe the CME will probably be throwing their hat in the ring and doing some lobbying at the moment, because the majority of retail is now trading prop firms, so they're not getting those micro commissions. So they're either going to make people go live sooner, or basically charge the prop firms more money. If it's they'll open up like another tiering, so it's extra data that they'll need to pay for, or something along those lines. Fast tracks is over beer. I know, I know. I mean, to be honest with you, I think their intentions are kind of right. They try to do something a bit different in the market. Um, they just pulled treasuries like everyone else. I don't really think they investigated it. I just think if some of the other companies are pulling it, they'll just pull it as well, which makes sense. But in terms of what's happened relatively recently from their side, I mean, you can't have one-to-one target, um, end of day drawdown, and basically allow people to scale accounts massively like that. They only had one rule: is 20% consistency. To be honest, you know. So if you're good at trading, you can take 10 to 20 of these accounts, and they also really screwed themselves for the discounts. I never understand. It seems to be a US thing, right? It's crazy. It seems to be a US thing where they put the prices really high and then just absolutely slash them to the hilt. I never understand that, because they price it like that for a reason, and then they cut it to get sales in, and then it ends up distorting their ROI. That ends up killing their own edge, you know. So it just doesn't make any sense. You don't see the trading pit based in Europe and FTMO doing as many ridiculous sales like that. I just find it a bit weird. Not that I'm having a saying, I'm not stereotyping whole of US businesses, but especially in the prop firm space. Not much yet, in my opinion. There were a couple of articles about it, but because the authorities judge it as orders are not involved with exchanges, so no ban, the regulation plans in the pipes. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is too that these companies, their SIC codes are just going to be like education platforms. Do you know what I mean? They're not doing anything to do with securities. They'll just be under as education, to be honest. That's why if you go into the terms of service, they say, we'll potentially pay you, but we might not. Depends. They all say that. Top Step even more now that they've got that Top Step TV thing where They're almost like a media slash education business now. It's just all a front for getting in failing traders, to be honest. But hey, at least 80% of them fail, so it's easier to find losing traders than it is winning ones. But when you find traders that are really, really good, you should be nurturing them and giving them capital because you'll make far more money with people that just get the market than you will, Bob that comes in and, you know, every month pays a $30 subscription or something. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, not exactly the best order flow to be discussing, guys. So I suppose we'll kind of veer off into other topics. So let me know if there's anything you want to discuss. But yeah, it's very much like a holiday, to be honest. Exactly, Rob. And that's the harsh reality of it is, you know, realistically, you've not got a leg to stand on. You're putting your money into the accounts. You're not. It's not even. This is the hard thing to realize. When you buy accounts with these prop firms, your money's not ring fenced. It's not going into a brokerage account, so it's segregated from, you know, the account. If a prop firm decides to take their staff out for a meal on a Friday, they pay that meal from the same account that they also pay the payouts. Let that sink in for a little second. If they go out and buy a meal, there is a commingling of funds there, right? So all it takes is the senior management to take a slightly bigger salary, and oops, there's no Benjis anymore. Let's change the rules. I mean, they've all done that. So did Apex as well. It's not like it's something new, you know. I still think one of the worst things you can do though is basically um almost like a company says to you, forget prop firms in general. If you send an invoice to a company, right, and the company says, yeah, I'll pay it, no problem, and then 6 weeks later they come back to you and say, nah, we're not paying it. In the land where I'm from, that goes to collections. I send that to a debt collector. Do you know what I mean? That's how I would operate, but somehow it seems to be slightly different in prop land. But that's the trouble, is because you don't have a leg to stand on, which is why the T's and C's have been changed so aggressively in favour of the business. Good question, mate. I use both. I use Teton for personal accounts, and I use Rhythmic for any prop. The one thing I would say, and I would highly recommend that you do this for the goodness of your own health and sanity, please go and open a brokerage account and put the minimum amount in and get your own data. Do not use data from these prop shops. Don't. You know, you're basically relying on a company that is business model is to take your money for them to provide you accurate data, right? I mean, I'm not saying that any of these companies do anything, but you're literally, never mind they do anything, they've got thousands of traders on there. They've probably went for a cheaper plan with Rhythmic where it's just not going to be as robust as live data from the CME that you're getting from a brokerage. For example, using Denali data feeds, you can use your own private data that you should pay for, and then you can do your own order routing to any prop firm or any shop or whatever you need to do. And it's one less thing that can potentially screw you on. Over the number of months, you've seen loads of people say, "Oh, these orders get frozen. They've got these issues that happen. Data glitching." I'm going to be honest. I've never had anything like that happen ever on when I route to Rhythmic or to Teton, for example. Now, granted, the fills are a little bit shitter on sim environments. That's another thing that they don't tell you as well. If you're laying it out in the current bid and ask on an actual live market, you're getting much better fills than you are laying it out in Rhythmic, because these sim filling matching algorithm that's running there is slightly more passive than the live market. It's just something to bear in mind. Exactly, Rob. Those low quality feeds, man, are just in general. I mean, too many people, not enough. We'll call it server space or storage per se, or bandwidth. It's probably the wrong exact terminology, but basically, Rhythmic is not allocated enough, and then you get essentially, lagging on the specific server. To be honest. Which is why some of these firms, when they first start, they start off on a Rhythmic paper server, and then as they grow, they then have pain and they have to get their own server. And when they go to Rhythmic will basically say, okay, what's the volume of accounts you're going to open per month? This is the fees, and you need to account for that. So as they grow and they don't potentially up certain things, then it's going to affect the quality of the data that comes through. So you can remove that by getting your own data. The two main brokers you can go to is AMP or Edge Clear. Pretty straightforward. AMP is a little bit more transparent than Edge Clear, where they actually put the pricing there. Once you start moving some size, you can basically put pressure on them and just say, look, I'm now moving some size. Can you get your pencil sharpener out? If I knew this market was going to be this bad, this is shocking. Suppose it's just turned into hanging out with you guys. There's not. There's just zero action here entirely. I've got what 20, 23 minutes till we have 15 minutes of actual volume to come in. So yeah, we're going to run through. I think we'll do it tomorrow, but I'm going to work on a video for you guys for Price Squawk, which is quite a nice setup. There's a link to it in the description if you want to go and play around with it at the moment. I think they're doing a promotion. Graham's doing a promotion at the minute where it's buy 1 month, get 1 month free. You don't get a trial because, unlike Tick Strike, you actually need the data from DX feed in order to utilize it. Where am I from in the UK? Take a guess, mates. Have a guess. Volume today, mate. Nothing crazy. Volume wise, and we basically just sweeped highs and lows and then reverted back into the mean today, mate. Like today's session I checked this morning, uh, US session was okay. Nothing to absolutely write home about though. I traded a bit of grains for the afternoon as well. Take a wee guess. Yeah, exactly. A cat's out the bag, buddy. I'm from Scotland, so yeah, mate. So you can. I mean, I'm speaking about this from you from your own data, right? You can get your data from wherever you want. Basically, when you've got a brokerage, you need a brokerage account in order to go to a data feed and basically get access to it. That's the kicker. You can't you can't get your own personal data from the CME without a live brokerage account. So you need to. That's what you need to do. But for your side, because you're using Sierra, mate, you can basically if you're using AMP or Edge Clear, um, that gives you access to Denali data feed, and then you can then just connect in, Rhythmic as the order routing if you were doing that via prop. The two that I go between, I have different instances of Sierra chart open at the same time. Um, and then I have one that's, it's all overarching Denali data feed, and then I have one for Teton for the personal, and then one for Rhythmic for prop. You're close, mate. You're close, just outside Glasgow. Outside Glasgow, dude. It's about an hour away from Edinburgh, 45 minutes or so. I'm not away up in the Highlands or anything. I'm not in the Scottish wilderness just yet. But I'm actually quite astounded as to how bad this action is here. Though this is untradeable, to be honest. Do 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 do. Your mum's Glasgow, but your accent is much stronger. Oh, really? What? You say I'm a Glaswegian? My accent's not that strong, mate, to be honest. Here is a link for any of you lovely people that want to donate to my coffee fund and ranting fund. Helps out the channel, keeps me sane. But yeah, um, no, I wouldn't say it's that strong, mate. To be honest, it's more. It depends. It depends how ranty I get. You know, if I'm ranting about prop firms and the commissions, then it'll be a little bit more broader. To be honest. But yeah, Maku. Hopefully that makes sense, mate. You can get use Denali and then basically route to Rhythmic for your Apex account. You can do that, mate. It's actually fairly straightforward on the data trade settings on Sierra. Just don't put in the username and password for the market data part, if you leave that blank and just put the username and password for the routing, so the first part, then if you've got Denali data feed that you're paying Sierra for, um, it will basically always default to that. So just something to bear in mind for you, mates. We certainly look like we're going to pop here. I mean, it has to do something, right? I'm wondering if you guys have got any open trades. Are you guys looking to take any positions or anything? You're kind of clutching at straws at the moment, but we have got this 10k negative not negative delta, positive delta right now. So if we do pop higher, and we do get say to like 15k, then for the last 10 minutes we could potentially pull in because they could literally undo this last, probably hour and a half in like one candle. Yeah, no problem, no problem, mates. Just shoot me a message later, dude. Yeah, mate. So that's a good point. I've actually got a video that covers the all the package stuff. So package 12, the only difference between 12 and 11 is 12 you've got MBO data. 11 you basically need to take integrated stuff. So 11, you need to have 11 pretty much, and you get access to everything. And if you want MBO data, then package 12. I think MBO can be useful for thicker markets, not so much in NQ anymore, because there's this ghost algo that's shown up that is not real. But yeah, Sierra is by far one of the hardest. Thanks, Rob. Enjoy, buddy. Have a beer on me, mates. Have a good time. In Alcatraz. Class. Yeah, Sierra is probably one of the. I know it's weird. It's a really, really difficult platform, not for the faint of hearted, but you really get. There's something strangely satisfying about it at the same time. Um, it's when you spent years on the platform, it's really hard to change, you know. And I'm at the stage which is, good for Sierra to be honest, because they've got me over a barrel. Other platforms could come to me and give me the platform for free, and I still wouldn't change, which is a ridiculous statement to make, but I'm just that used to it. The $100 a month or something I pay for it is it's just needed, and I'm not you know, if you may be like that with Jigsaw or any other platforms you use or whatever, but it's very much like an accounting software, to be honest. Um, once you get really used to it, it's hard to change. You get a headache, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You definitely, it's not even the fact that it's a difficult platform to do. Even the documentation is really challenging. You need to go through tons of documentation. That was actually one of the, not saying I created the YouTube channel to do it, but some of the cool things that I've spent ages on trying to work out over the years on Sierra. I then thought, hey, this could probably save someone, time. So I'll do a YouTube video on it. One of the really small ones, I don't know if you guys have checked this out, but one of the small ones that made such a big difference was the utilization of the hand tool. So say you can see now, I mean, if I full screen this, it's not like the market's going anywhere. So if I full screen this, right, you can see that I can use it almost like trading view where I've got my scroll wheel where it in essence, expands and squashes the chart. And then the hand tool basically drags it so you can move it around as you want, which is much easier to scroll back and stuff, you know, and drag it around. Um, there's a video on that. That makes a big difference with Sierra, to be honest. And then utilizing hotkeys is quite important as well, to make your life easier. Loads of little things that make a big difference. And you can literally program anything with a hotkey in Sierra, to be honest. Yeah, that's exactly it. Now the thing is, which I've actually learned over the years being in tech as well, is the platforms that are typically the most reliable and stable that are built by developers typically have terrible marketing, and the interface is shocking, to be honest. But they're normally extremely customizable because they're built by developers, and developers are developers. They're not sales or marketing, do you know? So there is something about that. So I almost felt that they built it in that way because that website has not been overhauled since the 90s. But yeah, I don't even know enough much about Sierra. I mean, they don't even have an affiliate program or anything, to be honest. So you know, it's not like I'm incentivized to say anything about Sierra charts in any way. Um, you know, just sadly the platform I've used for years is the one that doesn't do anything like that. But then I've got no choice because I use the platform so much, so be it. Because that's another thing. I've been approached by other charting platforms like Atis and all these companies reach out to me and say, hey, do you want a partnership and you can promote our stuff. But I'm like, well, sadly, how can I promote a platform that I don't use? Do you know what I mean? I need to use the stuff to promote it because I'm not promoting garbage. Not saying that the platform is garbage, but you know what I mean by the how that works. Because obviously being a YouTuber and stuff, you know, um, now I get people trying to do partnerships and things now that reach out directly. Some of the ones that if I really like the product, I'll reach out to them. Um, but sometimes they do reach out, and a lot of the time it's not ideal, to be honest. Yeah, prepping for the apocalypse, exactly. I actually quite like how they've went down the business model of recurring revenue versus like Ninja allow you to buy the thing, you know. Whereas Sierra are like, nope, we know our stuff is great, so we'll charge you a monthly amount, and once you're 6 months down into it, you can't leave. pretty much is what they'll say, which is actually a really good marketing tactic, to be honest, in a weird sense. I mean, you do get a discount if you pay 6 months up front. Oh, really? Wow. Who gets Sierra free? Because I would like Sierra for free. That would be great. Nice. I don't. I need to check for a contact or something for it, but that would be awesome. Need to see because I suppose, to be honest, to promote it enough anyway, I would actually rather just have it for free and not have an affiliate program. To be honest with it, that would be nice because ultimately people would use it anyway. You know, that would be cool if possible. And to be fair, there is tons of tutorials in there on the channel that kind of make Sierra easier. It's not like I can put a tutorial out for Jigsaw. Nice. I've got no idea who Bish is, to be honest. Okay, 77.5 holding for now. Yeah, so we did pop this a little bit lower. We'll see there is the volume coming in four mementos. So let's see if we can actually move. You know, POC has just moved to here as well. There's me saying it was a while away, but it's just moved and you know, we'll see where we can go from here. But yeah, this is where you just called that, mate. This is the you know the key level right now because it's a little low volume pocket. If we do break here, you know, then we're going to work our way down, copy and move down to here, and maybe see a bounce back. So if we do split through here, then we'll potentially bounce back if we do even get this far, to be honest. So see how it goes. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream, despite it not being the most action. You've got me for an hour or so. You can deal with my rants. Exactly, mate. That's it. I mean, the 77s, 77.5 is pretty much last line of defense. We blow through there, then they'll imbalance here, where we maybe fill out and then go bid, but we'll see. The way it's looking right now, I mean, we'll see in the next couple of minutes if there's an injection of volume. We have still got nine, you know, call it 9.5k delta positive right now that more likely needs to be closed. Some of it at least. And what percentage of that? It's a fraction. Fraction of the total volume. Good, mate. I'm glad you're enjoying it. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. I suppose that's the thing. As long as I do this and I get, you know, I'm trading anyway, and you know, if you've been trading for years, you guys know trading's really really lonely game. So one of my objectives to starting this was to build a trading community, and we've really done that now, which is awesome. So if it grows and it grows organically, and that's the thing, I've not did any form of advertising. Geez, I don't even have a Twitter or Facebook account for the channel or anything, and I don't really, mm, I don't know, I don't really fancy going on Twitter with the channel and commenting on stuff. It's just not. I'm not really a social media person, to be honest. So really, the channel, I suppose Reddit seems to be a place. If so, I suppose if any of you guys ever see anyone needing order flow assistance on Reddit, there we go. There's the volume coming in. Let's see, last line of defense. Are we going to hold? Look at that, it literally stopped dead at 77.5. Let's see, are they going to hold? NQ's going. Look at that, right down to the line, to the imbalance, and then whoop. It would be really, really disappointing here if they go down to 76 and pull it back into 80s and we finish in here. I mean, the amount of people that'll be trading breakouts and all of this and it just get stuffed. So we are seeing Delta starting to close out here now. An hour and a half worth of action is taken away in 5 minutes. That's why always you need to pay attention to Delta if it's relatively one-sided because they typically like to close it out. Wow. He calls every day a carry on. You're a carry on. Yeah, yeah. It just means you're a. It just means you're a. Like you're a laugh. You're a good joke or something. To be honest, in Scotland you swear at each other and it's your best friends. Yeah. It just means you're good fun. To be honest, if someone says you're a carry on in Scotland, it's actually not something I would ever say, but that's actually quite a common Glasgow term. To be honest, I would say. We've still got the algos to come in the next 7 minutes, so we could literally rip it back up to 80s, to be honest. That's the most movement I've seen in the first 3 minutes of the volume injection, but to be honest, it was in that range for far, far too long. Thought it means cap and baggage. Yeah, you take your carry-on bag. Yeah, yeah. No, that just means you're good fun. It's weird that actually how there's different phrases and things mean different things. Cultures are really different that way. So we're seeing this 100 lot here. Let's see if it's going to trade out or not. And it does, trades out. There's another 100 lot down here, which is a real one. So basically, every single day at 10, what time is it in the US? It's 10 to 4. So at 10 to 4, New York time, um, there is always an injection of volume. Not as much as this. This is quite one-sided. I mean, there is an injection of volume, but they're really hitting into the bid here. So from 10 to 4 to 5 past 4, there's a lot more volume. So you're thinking the market's moving quite a lot right now. Wait till you see the next 5 minutes. So at close, there's about 3-4 minutes of ridiculous volume that happens, which you'll see. That happens every day, and typically it happens in every market when the regular trading hour session closes. So even if you're trading bonds or you're trading grains or currencies, whenever the pit trading hour closes, it's a lot more volume that will happen. But yeah, it's nice if it's really one-sided like this. And this happens every single day, regardless of anything. It's just they're doing that to close out positions. I don't know if you've ever spent any time looking at open interest, but very typically, only 3 to 5%, sometimes even less, will be held, uh, you know, from that current trading session. So a lot of the positions are closed out. So if delta is really one-sided, then a lot of positions could be closed out because that's just how it works. So I normally start to pay attention when it's say 10 to 20k. And a lot of the time you get a correction in delta just because positions are closed out for that session because say 97% of positions are closed that session. So it gives you an idea that they'll need to close them out if that makes sense. No, this is actually the regular trading hours close. This is cash close. The rest of the time, you'll notice why I probably end the stream just after 5 past because nothing happens. It's pretty much the close. There's no volume after, yeah, pretty much 20. You're saying that to me, yeah, in GMT. So pretty much after 21:05 GMT, there's not really anything happens. So I'm going to clear this so you can actually see the volume that will come in the next couple of minutes. It'll be an eye opener for you, mate, if you've not seen it before. And sadly, a lot of retail don't know this, and they'll be like, "Oh, there must be some sort of craziness going on." I think there is earnings actually coming out today, but this has just been a sell off in Delta, and the market was up there for an hour and a half, so they've just decided to hit it. And also, normally we're an hour behind right now in GMT, so it's the next 2 minutes it'll come in. You'll see it. Okay, it's actually starting to go in a wee bit now, to be honest. But you can see how the volume's basically picked up massively now. The amount of contracts that are trading. Probably see this revert a little bit more. We'll see how it goes. What they're going to do. Right back into yesterday's value area as well. Thousands of contracts traded. Then again, they've basically already moved, so it looks like now they're just actually closing out some more positions. So we've got this for about 3-4 minutes, and then that's pretty much it. The market will end something like 74s to 70, somewhere in that range now. So yeah, if that's the first time we've seen that, mate, interesting. The last 15 minutes, you can pretty much try and come up with a decent enough trade, and it should be, if you're on the right side, it should be in your favor quite quickly, to be honest. Anyway, guys, let me know if you get any other questions, or we'll look to call it. And that's pretty much all she wrote for the sesh. We will faff around in this area now for the next 50 minutes or so till the market closes. And I think there is earnings after hour, actually, is there not? There is, isn't there? Yeah. Wow. Look at the lack of volume trading through here as well. That's madness. This is not normal. I think there's just earnings that have just come out. Is it not Google earnings, or am I making that up? Let me see. Oh, we could listen to them, but nah. Anyways, guys, I hope you have an excellent rest of your evening. I'm glad you enjoyed it, mate. This one is kind of a red herring, of course, because there's earnings that just came out, but what up until the 9 o'clock candle to about 2 or 3 minutes past, this is not saying it's consistent with the one-way flows, but the volume is consistent every time. But glad you guys enjoyed it. Um, I'm trying to stream a little bit more consistent, to be honest. Try and get at least 3 times a week in. It is pretty brutal when the market's like this, so if you guys basically are not chatting, it kind of makes it extremely boring for me, to be honest, as I'm watching paint dry. So Hopefully, you guys stay safe in your trading, and we will catch up later on the week. Peace, everyone.